republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And I am going to ask for a moment of silence for Ann Shota, who passed away on February 7th. Mrs. Shota worked as a business teacher at Southington High School. Over 14-plus years, she was a two-time nominee for Teacher of the Year and was class advisor for the class of 1984. Mrs. Shota was the mother of our former town manager, Mark Shota, Rose Risser, a former teacher at Kelly School. She was the mother-in-law of Karen Shota, who was a teacher at Kennedy, and our current athletic director, Steve Risser, also mother-in-law. And she retired in 1991, a family that gives back. So a moment of silence in her honor, please. Thank you. Mr. Mendancy, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am going to call Mrs. Leventhal up this evening. Oh, I'm looking over here. And you have the artwork, but we can also see that there is artwork displayed for you. We have two amazing Southington High School students that we would like to celebrate this evening. As you all know, celebrations of excellence are one of our favorite parts of the Board of Education meetings. So I would ask Ellen Sorensen and Riley Welch to please come forward. This is their artwork, and Sarah will tell you a little bit about these projects, their recognition, and a little extra that we learned about today.
Okay.
Do they know about the extra?
One does, one does not.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah. The Southington High School Art Department is proud to announce its two student winners from the Connecticut Regional Scholastic Art Awards. Their work was among those recognized by a panel of creative professionals as the most outstanding work submitted among their peers. The competition includes public, parochial, and private schools from around the state and is the premier competition to participate at the high school level. Senior Riley Welch earned a Silver Key Award for her graphite skeleton drawing. Senior Ellen Sorensen earned an Honorable Mention Award for her mixed media self-portrait drawing. Notably for Ellen, this is the third year in a row that her artwork has been chosen as a winning piece. That actually is unprecedented at Southington High School for that to happen.
Great.
Both were honored at the Connecticut Regional Scholastic Art Awards celebration held at the University of Hartford Lincoln Theater in January. Their artwork was also featured in the Connecticut Regional Scholastic Art Awards exhibit. In addition to this, I would also like to share that both have also more recently been chosen for additional awards. Ellen was selected by the Southington High School Art Department as the Connecticut Association of Schools Award recipient for her 2025 Visual Arts Award. She remarkably has shown great dedication and passion for creating artworks of extraordinary excellence. Her ability to take risks while also being bold, unique, and innovative are unparalleled. All of this has certainly helped her classmates as they have watched her lead the way to distinction. The art department feels that she exemplifies the criteria of this prestigious award. The Connecticut Association of Schools describes the award as the Connecticut High School Fine Arts Awards annually honors two outstanding seniors from each of the member schools in the state who excel in the performing or visual arts. They must possess qualities of scholarship and leadership. Excelling in the performing or visual arts is the primary importance in the selection. Ellen will be presented with this award at the upcoming Hass Awards banquet held in honor of all recipients from across the state on Tuesday, April 1st at the AquaTurf in Plantsville. I would also like to share, and I got special permission to share this early, that Riley was selected by the Southington High School Art Department to receive the annual art award for her excellence in art and her amazing contributions to the overall art experience. Personable and friendly, she has an ever-ready smile and an extraordinary enthusiasm for life and sharing. Riley spreads positivity without even realizing it. I have always been impressed with how she interacts with her peers. Riley is one of those students who, without ever being asked, readily and regularly helps her classmates, all of them, regardless of their abilities or peer group. She is sensitive to the wants and needs of others with a genuine ability to listen and offer helpful encouragement, demonstrating empathy well above the norm of the average individual of her age. Riley will be presented with this award at our annual awards night held at Southington High School on Wednesday, May 7th. I have been incredibly lucky to have both in class for multiple years, and I can't tell you how proud I am of both of you for all of your accomplishments. Truly, truly outstanding.
I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps to hear what you were reading, and it never ceases to amaze me, the talent of students that we have at Southington High School. And I am so grateful that we are able to have a ceremony like this to showcase students. I'm looking at your artwork, and I can't draw a straight line, and I can't do a and where you get this creativity is just, I'm blown away by it. And I thank you for sharing it with your fellow students and with the rest of us, because I'm just amazed. And I can't wait to see what you're going to do moving forward, because don't let something like this end. It's just, you've got too much of a talent, you're just gifted. I hope you use it, and I hope you come back and share with us what you've done. So, I'm going to read one of these. Are they both the same? I haven't looked at them. I'm going to read Riley's. Having duly qualified under the standards prescribed by the Southington Public Schools, you are hereby awarded the Certificate of Excellence for Connecticut Region Scholastic Arts Award Silver Key Award. And Ellen, you are recognized by the Connecticut Region Scholastic Art Awards Honorable Mention Award. To both of you, wonderful work. Keep it up, okay? And thank you. Unless you want to. Yeah, okay. It's okay, you don't have to. Board members, did you want to come down and take a look?
Brief recess.
Brief recess, very brief, very brief. He just ran out for a moment, and I'm going to run over and get my notes.
Yep. Yep.
Here it is. I'm all over the place. Okay. Mr. Darrenowski will be with us momentarily. So I'm going to ask Mr. Oshana.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to move item 11B, out-of-state field trips, up to item 7E.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, I am looking for a motion to approve the minutes of...
moved.
Second?
I didn't get to say what date it was. January 23rd. Oh, we're eager tonight. Okay. Any discussion? I'm going to wait, though, for Mr. Darrenowski. He should be right back before we continue. Okay, and I'll take a sip of water. Okay, just so he's on the record. I wasn't joking. You, unless you want to stay.
Yeah, don't.
Don't feel you have to. Do not feel you have to.
It's exciting.
That wasn't like an awkward moment of silence that you tried to escape during or anything.
Yeah, just a little. Thanks for coming. Mr. Darrenowski, we have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes of January the 23rd,
You're the deciding vote.
and I wanted to wait so that you could be official. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I need a motion for the minutes of the February 5th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Okay. Communication, public communications from our student board representatives.
Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to share some exciting news about the high school's theater program. The Drama Club has been hard at work preparing for this year's production of Cinderella, which will take place on March 7th and March 8th. We encourage everyone to come out and support our students to bring this story to life. Next week, the 11th graders will be participating in the NGSS testing. These assessments are important in measuring students' understanding of the next generation science standards, and we appreciate the efforts of both students and teachers in preparing for them. We also recently held our annual course fair, where students had the opportunity to tour different classes offered at SHS, and the event was a great success, helping students make informed decisions about their course selections for next year. Finally, planning for the all-night grad party has officially begun. This event is a great way to celebrate our seniors, and fundraising efforts are already underway. Updates, including fundraiser dates and locations, can be found on the Class of 2025 Instagram page. We encourage the community to get involved and support our graduating class. And for the sports report, recently 2 SHS sports teams have won the CCC Conference Championships in the last 10 days. The varsity cheerleading team won the overall CCC championship competition on February 17th, and the team will compete at the Class LL State Championship this Saturday. The girls basketball team also won its first ever CCC Conference Championship last Monday at the University of Hartford, defeating East Catholic High School. The team defeated the state's #1 ranked team, Northwest Catholic, in the CCC semifinals on Saturday to advance to the championship game. They play in the Class LL State Championship tournament next Wednesday night. The boys basketball team won the CCC South regular season and qualified for the Division II State Championship, playing West Hill on Monday night at the high school. And the wrestling team finished in 5th place at the Class LL tournament last weekend, and they will compete at the State Open this weekend. The girls gymnastics team finished the regular season with an undefeated record, and the team finished 2nd in the Class L championship meet last Saturday, and will have 5 members of the team competing at the State Open meet this Saturday. And finally, the girls and boys indoor track teams both won the CCC South Division Championship 2 weeks ago. Now for Lauren.
Good evening, Board. As for our district report, we are happy to report that South End Elementary is once again participating in the One Book, One School. This year, each family received a copy of Escape from Mr. Lemoncella's Library, graciously provided by the PTO. Families are reading together each night and even have gone to the option of the South End staff reading pre-recorded chapters while trying to guess the mystery reader. Several accumulating activities are planned as the school community wraps up this fantastic adventure. On February 7th and 8th, Kelly Elementary School's Drama Club performed at the JFK Middle School stage to the world of Dr. Seuss with their production of Seussical Jr. Nearly 50 third, fourth, and fifth graders performed at an almost sold-out audience both nights. This production was directed by 2 Southington High School students who dedicated many hours to bringing the show to life and are so grateful for the opportunity to work with all of these wonderful students. Students in 4th and 5th grade across all elementary schools recently participated in the fire prevention poster contest. At Kelly School, 4th grader Alana Armack and 5th grader Ashlyn Kosika won the town-level competition, with their posters advancing to the Hartford County competition. This week, we received the exciting news that both Alana and Ashlyn won at the county level. They will be honored at a statewide luncheon on April 11th, where the state winner will be announced. Notably, Ashlyn also won the Hartford County competition last year as a 4th grader. This is the first time Southington has had county winners in both 4th and 5th grade, and even more special that they are both from Kelly School. Congratulations to Alana and Ashlyn. A special congratulations to JFK 6th grader Aria Drake, whose Invention Convention project has earned her an invitation to represent Connecticut at the National Invitation Convention in Michigan this June.
Wow.
This is an incredible achievement, and we wish her the best of luck. The JFK PTO recently coordinated an inspiring visit to the BMX rider and motivational speaker Manny Noguera. Excuse my pronunciation on that. I am not super familiar with BMX, but I did see videos and they were very cool. During his visit, Manny impressed students with his amazing bike tricks while sharing an important message about following your dreams and treating others with kindness and respect. This has also been a fantastic season for our unified sports athletes. They recently participated in local competitions, a tournament at Wilcox Technical High School. We are incredibly proud of their dedication and teamwork. Lastly, we want to recognize JFK staff member Betty Bove, Pam Stone, Tim Rorty, Jillian LeBlanc, and John Rossi for representing the Kennedy Eagles last weekend at the Sloper Plunge. Their participation helped to raise over $1,400 to support YMCA camperships, an amazing effort for a great cause. This concludes our student report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of our students? Yes,
Just one comment.
yes, sir.
Go Blue Knights.
Could you remind us who the director of the show?
Clark, you're killing me with this.
Just wanted to get it out there again.
Marin Tarfano, who's a junior at Southington High School, and myself.
Okay. Well done, well
Thank
done. Thank you. Okay. Communications from board members. Mr. Brown?
Yeah, just a quick notice or whatever. The Wall of Honor at the high school has a deadline of May 1st for applications. And it's really difficult now without having a local newspaper to tell people what's going on. So if people could just tell people the applications are available. If you go to the Southington Public Schools website and then go to the high school and type in Wall of Honor, there's an application there. If you can't find it out, send me an email, I'll send you one. It's a wonderful thing, and if you read the application, make sure the qualifications are there and it's all filled out. But please fill out applications.
Madam Chair, if I may?
Yeah.
We have a SPS Public Schools Instagram and Facebook page, which that would be great for. So we'll
That's
take care of-
awesome.
We'll take care of posting that
Thank
this
you
week.
very much. Thank you. That's good, yeah.
Good, good, good. Okay, anyone else?
Have your people call my people.
Oh, that's about right. I just want to make mention, because I noticed it's not on the administrative report. I had the pleasure this week of attending One Book, One Community, The Age of Anxiety. You didn't mention it in your report, Mr. Medancy, and I have to say, the presentation done, Mr. Pepe, you were part of it. Mr. Pepe, Mr. Medancy, and Joanne Kelleher. Actually, it was Mr. Pepe and Mr. Medancy did a phenomenal, phenomenal job. And I know it wasn't something that somebody handed you a package and said, here you go. use this, and you can do this with the community. I think we had over 60 people there, really engaged in talking about some of the impact of the book and the differences in how people grew up. It was very, very interesting to be part of this, and I'm looking forward to March 12th, I believe, is the next session. If you haven't signed up and you are interested, please do sign up, because I think it's very, very eye-opening to see perspectives from other generations. I being one of the baby boom, I think there were 2 baby boomers there. I was one of 2. But I want to thank you for the work, because I know that wasn't easy to do, so it is appreciated, and I wanted to recognize you both for that. Thank you. Okay. Communications from the administration.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I'm going to add on a little bit about the CCC Girls Basketball Championship, because I'm a little bit of a girls basketball junkie, given that my wife is a high school varsity coach and my daughter is her starting point guard. So I watch a lot of girls basketball. Because of that, it was the first time I was able to watch our team play this year, because they often play on the same evening. Just to see the display, I don't think I could do it justice with words. But at the end of the first quarter, I mean, this is a team that they were beating after they had already beaten the number 1 seed in the state. Or not, this team was about number 3 in the state. That the coach had no answers. It was 26-4. Oh. Everything Southington threw up went in.
It was a good game.
And the extra pass that they made, the unselfish play, and the defense, and it was 10 kids that contributed. It wasn't like they relied on a player. And I couldn't help but think about the coach up in the sky,
Right, exactly.
who they're doing this for. So
Yeah.
it was a special night.
Sure.
The boys we talked about playing Monday night, and the girls have a bye because they're such a high seed. So there's a chance we'll be hosting a doubleheader next Wednesday night, boys and girls, in the state tournament. So we'll keep you posted on that front. I also had a chance Saturday night to go to the senior night for Terrier Hockey. And if you don't know what Terrier Hockey is, that's the co-op that we are part of with a few other towns for high school hockey. So since we don't have enough players to have our own team, we co-op with other towns. And, 4 of our seniors were recognized. And again, it's one of those things, I don't think people realize that these high school players get up at 4:30 in the morning so that they can get on the ice, and then they get home and they get to class. They sacrifice a lot to be part of a high school hockey team, so I was glad I got to be there for their senior evening. Unfortunately, the game didn't turn out the way we had hoped it would, but they've had a pretty good year overall. They've been very competitive in every game, and I'm glad that despite the fact that we don't have the numbers, we're still able to provide that opportunity for those students. It's a big part of their life. The Board of Finance public hearing, just as a matter of information for the public, is Monday night. This coming Monday night at 7 o'clock at the Apollo Middle School. So if anybody has any opinions about the budget, that is your opportunity to share. On February 13th, I testified up in Hartford in front of the Select Special Education Committee and spoke to reducing the threshold from 4.5 times to 3 times for in-district programs. I know it's something we've talked about extensively. That bill is still alive right now. So I think I'm going to keep staying the course with that and see if that can't help our district. And then again, yesterday I testified on 4 separate bills. One was an unfunded mandate that I spoke against, and then I spoke in favor of 3. One was a working group to study how we can educate, call resources, and develop curriculum on fighting anti-Semitism in the community. The second was to add a hold harmless provision for education cost sharing so that no districts would get less money this year in education cost sharing revenue than they received last year. As of right now, we're one of 81 districts that stand to lose money this year based on the new formula, and that's to a tune of about $259,000. So a hold harmless provision brings that back to us. And the third one I spoke about was reducing standardized assessments for students. I spoke of my middle school experience as a principal, and sometimes the kids read the room. They look at these assessments and they say, why are we doing this? What is this for? My class placement? No. Is it for credit? No. Is it for my grade? No. And then we try to motivate them and tell them, it's just so that you can show us how much you've grown this year. And we try to make it a proud moment. And they read the room. And we don't always get their best effort. And I don't think that's a fair metric to judge output on. And so I think the district-wide assessments that we develop, the curriculum-based assessments, that we know we've taught to our students, and the growth that they display throughout the year is a more authentic measure. And as all of you know, we have a vision of a graduate. The Smarter Balance assessment doesn't measure our progress against that vision of a graduate. And so I'm going to continue to advocate for reducing standardized assessments and giving instructional time back to our teachers and allowing us to assess in district with authentic assessments that measures what we say we value, which is our vision of a graduate. Slope or plunge, you are amongst a legend this evening, and it is not me. It's sitting right there. Your board recording secretary is one of only 2 people, along with Mark Pooler, who has jumped all 20 slope or plunges.
Wow. Woo-hoo, Jackie.
Little known tidbit is they had to cut through 14 inches of ice for this year's plunge. Because of that, the swath that we usually jump off, and we jump 4 at a time, wasn't as wide, so we could only jump at 2 at a time. Our team was Tyler Savage and Peter Romano, Jackie, and myself this year. Well, Peter thought it would be really neat to jump with Tyler because his grandson Sawyer was there. And so he and his grandpa and his dad got to jump off together. And then Jackie and I got to jump off together. And I said, Jackie, if this is your 20th, you kind of got to go big or go home. So I said, let's cannonball this one. Whoa. So she said, I've never done a cannonball. I said, well, it's the first time for everything, Jackie. So she did it. We have great pictures. I'll share them with you in my next weekly update. She took the plunge. And I just want to thank them for joining me in that, but also along with that, I think you heard it as part of the board report from the students. So many staff members. I see Mr. Grindle over there hiding in the corner. He was one of our fearless jumpers. We have so many staff members from across the schools that take time on their Saturday to jump in ice cold water in order to benefit students. And so it's a great event, something that I look forward to every year. And then lastly, Southington High School, this is not new news for you, but because I kind of feel like we're almost, I don't want to say the Yankees, I'll say the Patriots with the dynasty that we've developed here. But the Southington DECA store, the school-based enterprise at Southington High School, was among only 4 other school-based enterprises in Connecticut achieving gold certification for the 24-25 school year, and they will be recognized during DECA's International Career Development Conference this April in Orlando. And incidentally, any of those who love DECA, the state competition this year is actually at the AquaTurf this Monday, and it lasts throughout the day. So I'll be, stopping in to check it out. I haven't had a chance to ever go to the state level competition, so I look forward to that as well. That concludes my report this evening.
Okay. Any questions of the superintendent?
I just have a quick comment.
Sure.
What you said about the standardized testing, 100%. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, communications from the public on agenda items only. Anyone? No? Okay. Field trips that move from 11B. We have approval for 3 different field trips.
So move to approve the out-of-state overnight field trip to Orlando for DECA.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next is, and this is the one, yeah. Do I have a motion for the trip to Spain?
Move to approve the SHS field trip to Salamanca, Spain, as presented by the administration.
Second.
Any discussion other than Mrs. Clark would really like to go? All those in favor?
Aye.
And the third one, the Jazz Ensemble to Philadelphia. Do I have a motion for that?
Move to approve the SHS Jazz Ensemble field trip to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as presented.
Second.
I just have one question. Is this the first year for this? Okay. It sounds, I mean, all the trips always, to me, sound awesome, but this really sounds exciting for them, especially if it's the first time. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. Okay. Moving right along to committee reports, Policy and Personnel Committee meeting.
I was not
You
there.
you were not there. Mr. Pepe, would you like to give the report?
Of course. Meeting was called to order at 5:32.
revised job descriptions listed as agenda items 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22 were all reviewed. This is a big push by Mrs. Passamano to update our 4000 series, make sure that the job descriptions are reflective of the positions that have evolved over time. Agenda item 23, job description for the district registrar, human resources, was presented as new. The position was created because of an internal reorganization with no additional associated costs to the board. The position serves as an efficiency as it oversees all student registration, spanning from kindergarten screening to McKinney-Vento, open choice, and any new student registration and residency verification. Agenda item 24, job description for therapy department lead, was presented as new. Previously, this position was a $15,000 stipend for a member of the ABA department. Based on internal reorganization and redefining the associated responsibilities, the stipend was reduced to reflect the current contractual figure of $1,053 and will follow the salary schedule per union contract. Agenda item 2, policy 1312, public complaints, was reviewed. The suggested changes separate complaints against staff and/or building and grounds from complaints about curricular items. The curricular items, titled Challenge Materials, is now relocated within policy 6144, controversial issues. Within policy 1312, a cross-reference to policy 1316, relations between public and school personnel, is listed. Agenda item 3, policy 1316, relations between public and school personnel, was reviewed. The first 3 paragraphs serve as the policy. The remaining content is redundant since it appears verbatim in the associated regulations where it belongs. Bolstered language was added under the subsection disruptions. Agenda item 4, policy 5125, student records confidentiality, was reviewed and no changes suggested. The associated regulations align the process for a parent or guardian of a family or former student to challenge the content of records with the process as defined by the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. An additional edit within the regulation restricts the district from releasing directory information to only federal, state, and local governmental agencies. This shift adds a layer of protection for all Southington Public School students. Agenda item 5, policy 6144, controversial issues, was reviewed as the challenge material section from policy 1312 and the associated regulations were relocated within. Bless you. Agenda item 6, policy 6146, graduation requirements, was reviewed and the suggested changes reflect the legislated requirement of adding personal finance as well as adjusting the required amounts of credits necessary each year for a student to be on track to graduate as a senior. And finally, agenda item 7, policy 6171, special education, was reviewed and only changes to the associated regulations were suggested. The proposed edit removes the request for mediation procedures under section 504, since there is no such process as defined by section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. Meeting was adjourned at 6:45.
Okay.
Just a few items.
We just had a couple, 1 or 2. Anyone have any questions? Yes, Mr. Darnowski.
No question, but I would like to take the time to thank our Assistant Superintendent and our Director of Personnel. Terrific job. And the meeting went very smooth. And there were some questions that were presented, but they were answered. And it was a great meeting.
Thank you.
There was a lot of work involved.
Yeah. Thank you.
And that was obvious. So thank you for both of you for your work. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the District-wide Facilities Committee meeting. Mr. Medancy.
Thank you, and I'm going to apologize. I have a cough drop here too. It's just a lingering cough that's bothering me. So I know we spoke at the last board meeting that we had confirmed that doing 2 building projects simultaneously would exceed the policy limit of 9.5%. And so we then had to narrow in on a project, but by the end of that meeting, we didn't have, really at any point, I mean, we didn't have a quorum. So the board chair was not able to take consensus at that time. So we came back on February 20th. We reviewed and discussed the scenarios against the debt service for those who weren't able to attend the meeting in January. And then we discussed the one scenario that we had landed upon at that January meeting in order to inform those who were not able to attend. The board chair took consensus at the end of that meeting, and it was unanimous to move forward the Kelly Elementary School project and the South End Elementary School build-out to the Board of Education. And so my next steps for all of you will be, I have 2 reports I'm waiting on, the high-level redistricting report, as well as the, what I'll call do-nothing report that's being done at 2 schools, so that we can talk about if the options for this board to consider when this recommendation comes to you as an agenda item of what does it cost the district in the town if we do nothing, what does it cost if we renovate to new, and what does it cost if we go with new construction. And so I will be bringing that to you. I imagine I've been promised that I will get the high-level redistricting and the do-nothing reports. They were in our schools over the 2 days we had off in February. The presidents, they needed to do while the building was empty, some of the work that they needed to address. So they were in that Monday, Tuesday, and she promised me she could turn the report around within 30 days. It's an architect, an engineer, a plumber, an electrician that go in and go through the building. They go right into the belly and the guts of the building and all. So it'll be a pretty in-depth report with important information for us to consider. And so the reason why I tell you that, if I'm only getting the report on March 20th, that's the night of our meeting. And so it's too quick to turn that around for all of you and then have any meaningful conversation that evening and make any decisions. So I've talked to the board chair. We very likely will need, since we only have one April meeting, April 10th, a special meeting with the only agenda item being the elementary facilities project. I think it's a good time then for all folks that have been involved in the scenario planning up to this point to present information to the community and also allow the community to offer some public input if they so choose at that time. And it also, out of fairness to you, doesn't have you having such a large agenda item on the night of a business meeting. So we'll talk with all of you and poll about availability and whatnot for that meeting. Ultimately, I'm working backwards right now from June 30th, which is, that's the final part of the minutes essentially, that the grant application is due to the state by June 30th. So essentially, we need by June 1st to be done with everything that needs to occur up to the grant submission, which means the public hearing, the bonding authorization from the town council, and running it through all of the different government channels, planning and zoning, board of finance, and town council. So I'm looking at those dates right now. I'm in contact with the town manager to identify which dates. If you remember, for like the athletic facilities, they typically will take our items on the same night as their meetings. So for instance, if there's a public hearing that needs to be had, they'll do it at 6:30 prior to a 7 o'clock meeting, so that it's not additional meetings for them. That's why I'm identifying the dates of those meetings to make sure that we can stay on track with the timelines that we need to. Incidentally, today I was made aware of a bill that if in a new construction building, we add either special ed programs or preschool programs, either or both, we get 15% increased reimbursement rate for each. So our reimbursement rate right now is about 46%. If we added a special ed program into one of the new construction and or preschool classrooms, that could increase our reimbursement rate by up to 30%, which means we would get 76% reimbursement on a new construction scenario. So obviously I'm watching that bill very closely. The bad part is the legislative session ends like June 4th, I think it is, and the grant application is due June 30th. So we're on a very tight timeline in terms of whether the bill passes and what our high-level redistricting would look like in order to bring those programs into the building and then reallocate the population across the 7 existing and remaining buildings.
Did you have a question, Mr. Darrenowski?
Question, 15% sounds wonderful. Is that for the whole project or the special ed portion?
The whole project. Yeah.
So,
as it's written right now, right? Who knows what the bill ends up with once it's passed? But yes, definitely. I will keep the board apprised of that the whole way as I follow that through this session.
So doing some math, it sounds like that would actually make the new construction cheaper than renovation.
Absolutely, yes. Yep. So we'll keep you posted through the weekly updates and also upcoming meetings.
Okay,
That concludes my report. Thank you, Madam Chair.
thank you. Okay, finance,
That would be me.
Mr. Carson.
All right, so the Finance Committee met this past Monday, February 24th, at 6 o'clock. I have highlighted 5 items here that were discussed during that meeting that I will present to you now. The first item, and again, of these 5 items, I have a couple associated motions that I will make to the board. The first item is the Southington High School West Gym resurfacing. This is a one-time project that's being funded through the town of Southington one-time project account. What the district did with this is they had a non-mandatory walkthrough for vendors at the high school to take in the condition of the floor as well as what would be involved in bidding on the project. After that walkthrough the following week, it went out to bid. We had 2 companies bid on the project, and with administration support and a recommendation from Mr. Romano, I move to award bid 2025-07 for the West Gym floor resurfacing at Southington High School to New England Overland Floor Specialists from Madison, Connecticut, in the amount of $43,150. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
All right, excellent. Moving on to item number 2, which is the district's preschool tuition rates. As part of the school district's annual review and recommendation to the Board of Education regarding preschool tuitions, we do a comparative analysis of local area preschools. And the recommendation from the administration at this time is a 10% increase in preschool tuitions for the 2025-26 school year. At this time, I would like to make a move to approve the preschool regular education tuition rates for the 2025-2026 school year as presented by the administration.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
All right, thank you. Item number 3, the food service financial update. All right. So the Finance Committee had a discussion and a review of the current financial state of our food service program and year-over-year comparison. Currently, the number of breakfast meals served through January 2025 has decreased by over 70,000 meals compared to breakfast meals served last year through January. And that's due to the elimination of the stable funds that we received through the state. Now breakfast is, except for those students that are eligible for free or reduced meals, breakfast is now a full pay program. Okay, so with that said, let's see, year-over-year comparison in reviewing our income statements, it shows a net loss currently of $13,689 compared to last year where we showed a net gain of $128,295 in the prior year. Let's see what else we discussed. Oh, and I do have a note here just at this time. We also discussed negative meal debt within the district. And I'll take this opportunity to make a public plea to not only, student families, but the entire local community, that we do have a negative meal debt within the district right now of $17,038, and it's trending in the wrong direction. And so any opportunity to either make good on helping the district collect that outstanding debt, or in terms of a donation to the district to help support those families that are unable to pay for their students' meals would be greatly appreciated. And Ms. Mella, do you have any comment at this time on our meal service program?
No, I think you did a good job of summarizing where we are. We did expect the meal counts to go down this year because of the change in the structure of the funding from the state. So that is not a surprise, and I indicated to the committee that we would be working on a projection through the end of the year just to better understand how this is going to impact us. But we do still have a strong fund balance, so we're comfortable at this time. But to Mr. Carson's point, we have students that are receiving meals and they are not paying for the meals, and we have been communicating. We give text messages to families. We sent home letters to all the families who have any kind of negative balances over $10. There's been probably a lot of confusion in how the programs work over year. The state has changed, and the federal government, they've been supporting the program, but there is confusion at the parent level. So we did send hard copies of letters home, including an application for the free and reduced meals. If they felt that their family fell in those guidelines, that they could fill that out. And we also included information about the state's SNAP program for them. So we're doing the best we can to educate the parents. And in the past, before COVID, we did have some local townspeople who wanted to help if there was some kind of need. So we just wanted to get the word out there that we are dealing with the situation, and we will continue our collection efforts to try to recoup those funds, but that was the conversation.
Okay, excellent, thank you. And again, just to emphasize, parents, please pay attention to your Parent Square emails, because those communications continue to come out via those means. Moving on to item number 4, which was our overall Board of Education financial update, and I'll just highlight a few items for the board and for the public. First, our combined utility lines are currently showing a surplus of approximately $120,000, and the administration continues to monitor the electricity invoices with the new billing rates that came out the beginning of this year. Our magnet school tuition line is also currently projected to have a surplus of approximately $90,000 for FY25, mainly due to lower than budgeted enrollments. And our transportation line has been reviewed by our Director of Operations, and those transportation lines within the budget are currently in line with our FY '24-25 budget item lines. Last comment on our overall financial condition. I'll just speak real briefly to our special education excess costs grant reimbursement rate, which, if you pay attention to any of our public meetings, I think this comes up pretty much every month. Currently in the legislature up in Hartford, State House of Representatives, they, I believe on Monday, and it was ongoing while we were in our Finance Committee meeting, there was a discussion about increasing that reimbursement rate for the excess cost grant. And I'll kick that to our superintendent real briefly just to speak on where we're at with that.
Thank you, Mr. Carson. So that you're correct that bill was taken up Monday evening. It passed. It was bipartisan support across the board. At the House, all but 5 people voted in favor of it in total. And then it has also now since passed the Senate. All but 1 person voted in favor of it. So now it waits for the governor to either veto or approve. If the governor does nothing after 15 days, then it becomes essentially law and it's actionable. And then the appropriation will occur to the districts. If the governor vetoes it, the House and Senate can override a veto because with a 2/3 vote, given the fact that both of the votes passed overwhelmingly, it kind of is veto proof at this point. They can overturn that, if you will. It's important to know this isn't new money. This isn't found money. We only got reimbursed at 62%. That's less than what we budgeted for. And then, as all of you know, we also sometimes have outplaced tuitions that we don't, budget for. And so this will essentially make us whole. This isn't anything that we can count on to carry us in other ways. Going forward next year, we're in the same boat. Now they're developing a new budget, and we're hoping they're appropriating enough for the next 2 years of the biennial budget so that we don't fall into the situation that we did this year, that they had to take special action during a legislative session to make us whole in the current fiscal year, which is pretty much unprecedented. So we'll keep you posted on that front.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Superintendent. And to finalize my committee report, I'd just like to mention item number 5, where we considered and briefly discussed regarding the feasibility of undertaking a voluntary ADA compliance inspection at the high school, and due to some funding concerns and pending legal review, that item has been tabled and will be brought up in future committee session. That concludes my report at this time.
Mr. Brzezowski, did you have a question?
Yeah, I just had one question in
Okay.
regards to the meal programs. And Ms. Mellett or Mr. Carson, if you wouldn't mind, the numbers that we're seeing now that the pick the algorithm, whatever the name of the program was, where
Stable funds?
Stable funds. Okay, thank you. With that being gone and exhausted at this point, are the numbers now sort of comparable to what we were prior to COVID?
Sure, that's a good question. Our exhibit in the Finance Committee packet, Mr. Fickle was able to go back and provide the information. The 2017-18 year is really the last full year before we had COVID. And the meal counts then were actually lower than we're currently seeing. So pre-COVID, the meal counts were lower than what we are currently. So it's not unexpected to be at the level that we're at. It's just that the years when all meals were free and then last year when all breakfast was free, it did have an impact on the volume of the meals served. So like I said, we are going to work with our director to prepare a meaningful projection through the end of the year, starting with the meal counts and working our way through
And is part of that going to be an evaluation of what we actually offer for meal options as far as, again, maybe it's things that the students aren't really excited about, or,
We can look at that.
yeah?
Yeah, and just to, and just to give specifics, in 2018, 2019, pre-COVID, our breakfast meal counts through January were 40,759 breakfast meals served versus this school year, which is 57,173 meals, breakfast meals.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Carson and Mrs. Millet. Next item on our agenda is the superintendent's, the personnel report.
Recommend that the Board of Education approve the personnel report as submitted by the Human Resource Department.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving right along. Old business, town government communications. Mr. Medancy, do you have any town government communications?
Nothing new at this time.
Okay, anyone else? Nothing new. Okay, Mr. Williams, you have a,
Move that the Board of Education approve the SHS Earth Science New Unit Geodynamics, Energy Forces, and Earth's Crust as presented by the Curriculum and Instruction Committee.
Second?
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Move that the Board of Education approve the SHS Accelerated Biology New Unit, Unit 7 Evolution, as presented by the Curriculum and Instruction Committee.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Move that the Board of Education approve the SHS Accelerated Biology New Unit, Unit 8 Ecology, as presented by the Curriculum and Instruction Committee.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Let's see, where are we at now? E?
E.
Yep. Move that the Board of Education approve the SHS Health 1 revised curriculum as presented by the Curriculum and Instruction Committee.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Move that the Board of Education approve the SHS Health 2 revised curriculum as presented by the Curriculum and Instruction Committee.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Move that the Board of Education approve the Artificial Intelligence new course proposal as presented by the Curriculum and Instruction Committee.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. And last, move that the Board of Education approve the video game design new course proposal as presented by the Curriculum and Instruction Committee.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. New business. We have a presentation by Steps.
Okay, we want to hit the lights.
Good evening, everyone. And just before we begin, I'd like to say a special thank you on behalf of STEPS to Chairperson Clark, board members, Mr. Medancy, and Mr. Pepe for your continuous support of STEPS and for inviting us to present tonight about Youth Council. So my name is Katie Kavanaugh. I'm a junior at the Southington High School and one of the 3 youth peer advocates for STEPS. With me tonight is junior Ava LeBlanc, also a youth peer advocate for STEPS or student worker. And unfortunately, our other youth peer advocate, Paige Srini, couldn't be here tonight, but she did want to be. So STEPS stands for Southington's town-wide effort to promote success. And it's a community coalition. And for those of you who don't know, a coalition brings together individuals, organizations, and businesses in town to meet a common goal. And for us, this is substance use. STEPS started 18 years ago when 3 Southington teens died by suicide. Their worried friends approached the CEO of the Southington YMCA, who gathered other trusted adults around a picnic table. Together, they decided to create a safety net for Southington's youth, and that's the STEPS we know today.
STEPS has members from 13 community sectors. STEPS Youth Council represents the youth sector. We have about 20 members from Southington High School who meet twice a month to learn leadership skills and plan projects. We focus on promoting mental wellness and other positive things that help prevent substance use. We do activities such as STEP Storytime at the library and Night Notes, which are sticky notes with positive messages that we put on the night at school during stressful times like exams. Last year, we created a video called Mind Madness that won first place in CT for the Elks Drug Awareness Program. We also won multiple awards for our It's Not Cheesy campaign. That's our most impactful project and the one we're most proud of.
So our Cheesy campaign started when we reviewed data from a survey that STEPS does every other year of students in grades 7, 9, and 11. We were worried when we saw that only 34% of students have reported positive family communication. And together with our marketing partners, we had discussions who helped us create this project. We decided that our target audience should be parents of teenagers because we agreed that we wanted parents to be more proactive rather than reactive. So that way, before a bad situation occurs, we could already address the root of the problem. And hopefully this would help parents better understand what teens are dealing with while simultaneously helping teens and parents build their communication skills. Together, we created an online quiz to reach our goals. This way, families could complete the quiz from the comfort of their own homes and whenever they had some free time. So we partnered with 7 pizza places within Southington, and each of them put 100 stickers on pizza boxes throughout the same weekend. And we also had a billboard on Queen Street that you may have driven by, and we were very proud of that one. And we handed out information outside of Fancy Bagel, obviously a very popular spot in Southington, and at school events like Meet the Teams Night, where all Southington sports teams attend. Last year, we also got involved with advocacy, where we heard about unregulated drinks containing cannabis at a STEPS meeting and worked together as a group to write a letter to Representative Poulos about our concerns. Now there are more restrictions around those drinks throughout the entire state. However, this year, we learned about Kratom from a STEPS meeting, and together we decided that we were worried about its effects after we did some research. So we wrote a letter to our legislators and began to advocate for an age restriction of 21 and up to purchase Kratom.
Kratom is the name given to herbal products that come from the leaves of a plant that grows in Southeast Asia. There are many active chemical compounds called alkaloids in Kratom. The 2 that are most concerning are mitragynine and 7-OH. These chemicals stimulate opioid receptors in the brain. Some products are so powerful that Kratom was nicknamed gas station heroin. Right now, there are no age restrictions for buying Kratom in Connecticut, whereas other drugs like alcohol, cigarettes, vapes, and marijuana are restricted to those 21 and older. This is especially concerning because some Kratom products are designed to appeal to kids, like these ones on the screen in the blue package that look like Nerds gummy clusters. Also, the packaging can be very misleading, such as these chill pills. Free tablets are in the package, but the serving size is for 6. Like Katie mentioned before, our concerns about Kratom led Youth Council to send a letter to our Southington representatives and senator. We explained our concerns and invited them to one of our meetings to learn more. We were fortunate to have support from Representative Poulos, who was joined by Representative Martinez to propose a bill restricting Kratom sales to only individuals over age 21. Representative Poulos joined us at a Youth Council meeting where we told him about Kratom, and he answered our questions about the legislative process. On February 5th, we hosted an advocacy day at the Capitol. On that day, 7 members of Youth Council's leadership team and the STEPS board provided a drop-in breakfast for legislators and their aides and told them more about Kratom. Dr. White, a professor from the School of Pharmacy at UConn, presented his research to legislators and members of other coalitions. We got a tour from Representative Poulos and went into the House chamber. During our advocacy day, we learned that Kratom had been added to a big bill covering the Department of Consumer Protection. It was added to a list of substances that will be classified as drugs if the bill passes. There was a public hearing on the bill on Friday, February 14th, and 4 of us submitted written testimony to the General Law Committee. We will not know the outcome of this bill for a few more weeks or months, but we have learned a lot from this experience, from researching Kratom and presenting our concerns to interacting with legislators and understanding the legislative process. Thank you.
Awesome.
We definitely could.
I think there's, if you want to hit enter a few times, there's a few extra slides there at the end. It's the last 2. That was their advocacy day.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Steve Nyrick, and I am the current president of the STEPS Coalition. Katie and Ava, I would like to thank you for your very informative presentation regarding the drug Kratom, which you may not have ever heard of until you enter tonight. You worked together with your high school peers. You met with Chris Poulos, our state representative. You brought the bill to our state capitol. As you can see, our youth are trying to make a positive difference right here in Southington and in Connecticut. May I give a shout out to Steve Medancy, Frank Pepe, Colleen Clark, and all the Southington board members for supporting STEPS. C3 Communities Creating Change with our police officers, and the Asset Building Classroom Initiative. This is the part I like. Katie and Ava, you are like seeds. There you go. Okay. That were watered and nurtured through elementary years at Hatton, your middle school years at DePaulo, and now you are here as high school students who
Thank you so much.
who have bloomed into beautiful bouquet of flowers. Let's give them a big round of applause. Southington Board of Education, teachers, and the STEPS initiative grow great kids. I close with 2 words to our Board of Education. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nyrick.
Well spoken, huh?
And thank you all for what you do. And Katie and Ava, keep up the good work. Well done, well done.
Can I say something?
No, you can't.
I'm going to anyway.
Oh, you're gonna
So-
anyway.
So Katie and Ava,
What?
so for the STEPS organization to have 2 people like you speaking for them and advocating for them, your presentation was impeccable. Your confidence, your ability to get your points out, you weren't nervous at all. And if you were, you sure as heck didn't show it. I think you should be very proud of how you came across tonight. And I think for all of the things that you stand for and the fact that you're standing up for the rest of the students that are involved in this, as well as the adults that are involved in this, everybody should be very proud of you. And you should be very proud of yourself for what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. And
And I have to say you said something. It was 18 years ago, there was a group of adults sitting around a picnic table, and the picnic table, was up at Mountain Grove, and I was the host. And when I think of when we started to what STEPS has become today, yeah, I'm amazed. I'm amazed at how it's grown. I'm amazed at the caliber of students that are involved, what you've taken on, because quite honestly, 18 years ago, Trish, were you there? Were you one of the people? Yeah. Amazing work. Keep going. And thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just
Mr.
like
Jarowski.
to add to that. I can remember 18 years ago. It seems like 50.
Yeah.
But over the years, as STEPS has progressed to where it is now, we've had people who were there right from the beginning. Mrs. Kennefic,
Yes.
she's still actively involved with the drug
Yep. Yes.
thing at, every fall, which is great.
The
And,
Red Ribbon Rally.
Yes, and Mr. Nyrick, every time, I hear your name, or every time I see you, and over the years when you were, guidance counselor, and I'm gonna date myself, I had Mr. Nyrick as a teacher. At Hatton School, that's my 5th grade.
I was gonna say, come on, David.
I was gonna try and date him, just like I dated myself. But I had Mr. Nyrick, his father at fifth grade, my fifth grade teacher at Hatton School. That was a few years ago.
A few
Yes,
years
sir.
ago.
Oh, my goodness.
Small world.
My goodness.
Thank you for
Well,
that.
thank you. Thank you, for all of you, for all you've done and continue to do. So, okay. Yes, Mr. Carson.
One more comment. And fast forward 18 years to the present day, and kudos to our chairwoman. She's still doing the same thing
Oh.
today that she was doing 18 years ago, meeting at picnic tables. So there's a true community focus with gathering and talking amongst each other at a picnic table. So kudos to our chairwoman, and also a shout out to Megan Albanese. She does a great job with the STEPS program here in town.
Yes. Thank you, Sean. Okay. Next item on the agenda. Thank you all for coming. If you want to stay for the rest of the meeting, okay. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the Southington High School graduation date.
So I want to thank Mr. Darrenowski because two meetings ago, I think it was, he said, you're getting pretty good. You're making sure the snow falls on holidays because it had fallen on Martin Luther King Day. And we have been lucky. It's fallen over a couple weekends as well. So minus one snow day. But I had this agenda item for a few weeks now, right, for all of us for this meeting. And we've been blessed with really warm, mild weather and no snow dates. And I think we nailed it because the graduation date this year will be Thursday evening, June 12th. Now, don't be too disappointed because it gets you all out of a board meeting because there was a board meeting that evening. But instead, you'll be spending your evening as a board member with our students celebrating. The nice part about it falling on a Thursday is that if there's a rain date, it falls on a Friday, we don't have to go into the following week. So we're in good shape.
It's a win-win.
So I will entertain a motion.
Need a motion to accept that?
Yeah, I'll make the motion. Move that the Board of Education approve Thursday, June 12th, 2025 as the date for the Southington High School graduation ceremony.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'm a little disappointed it's not on my birthday this year, but, one day off isn't bad.
You'll be okay with that?
Yeah, I'll be
Okay.
okay with that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Next item is the Leonard and Gladys Joel Scholarship Committee. Do I have any volunteers? Mr. Darrenowski, Mr. Williams,
And Mr. Brown.
and Mr. Brown. Okay, 3 volunteers. Terrific, thank
The
you.
3 amigos, I like it.
3 amigos can decide. Okay, thank you very much.
If I can add just one thing.
Do.
This will be my 34th time.
who's counting?
Being on the committee with,
can't ever get
I had Dr. Joel as a teacher at the high school.
Oh, my word.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, he was a great guy, but tough, but,
Much younger, of course.
pardon me?
Much younger, of course.
I was.
President Grant.
A little bit, Dave.
Just a little, you were just a little bit. Okay. Thank you for volunteering. Next up, we have policies, first reading for
All of them.
all of them, yes. 1312, public complaints, 1316, relations between public and school personnel, policy 6144, controversial issues, policy 6146, graduation requirements. Yeah, they're all first read, so if you have any questions regarding them as you're perusing, Mr. Pepe, Mr. Bajewski. Now, for the job descriptions, can I just do I'm going to ask for, yes, I can? Okay. For items 1 through 13, the job descriptions, they're all administrative assistants. So we can do it as one general approval, so I would entertain a motion.
Yeah, I move to approve the job descriptions as presented by the administration.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item 14 and 15 are two executive assistant positions that have been revised, so I'll entertain a motion for those two.
So moved.
Okay?
Second?
Jackie, okay, yeah, you're good that way.
You got options.
You got options. Take your option. Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The new district registrar job? Do I have a motion for that?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve? Are you saying motion to approve, Mrs. Carmody?
Yes.
Yes, I
Yeah,
said
okay.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Second by Mr. O'Shana. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And the new therapy department lead? A
So
motion?
moved.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Public communications. There's no one left. Well, Roger's here. Roger's here. Hi, Roger.
He wasn't
He's
paying
okay.
attention though?
He's paying attention, kind of, sort of. Okay. All right, and one more motion, please.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my goodness.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So moved. Da-da-da-da.
Mr. Pepe,
Hey, Raj,
now that we're out,
why was Team 1